I'm turning 60 next year, and I'm so looking forward to it. Like, it's going to be a magical moment for me. The daily stress of my career is well behind me, and now we're both beginning to think of a way to embrace this phase of life by simplifying.
Really important for us, because yesterday I just turned 67.
You did.
That's an old fella. I am further down the road mentally than Jody is, and it's really even more important for me now to make sure I find ways to make my life simpler so that I can reduce the stress and anxiety that comes with everyday living.
Yeah, we both feel that, we need to figure out how to slow down, because we can easily crash and burn and let each day slip by if we're not careful. So we've seen others do that. We don't want to do it, and we don't want you to do it.
So today we want you to take some notes. Pick a tip or two or three that resonates with you and take the first step towards simplifying your life today. And we really want you to work hard on this, to slow down and say, what are some of the things I can do to make my life easier, simpler, and better? And do us a favor and tell us the tip that you're going to use and put it in the notes below so others can see.
That's a
what
great
you're doing.
idea. Tell us which one you choose, and that might inspire someone else and motivate others in our community. We want this to work for you, and we want it to work for us. So we're in it together. Enjoy this new phase, allowing yourself more time to do what you want and simplify.
Now, here's what we hear from some people. My life is already simple. Why do I need to simplify anymore? And, my answer is this. If your life is simple and you have it together, that's great.
Right.
Watch the video because you still might find something out. But there are a lot of people that get to this phase of life and they're just caught up in who they used to be and how life used to be. It doesn't have to be like that. And we've found a lot. We experiment for you guys. And we hear from other people on what works for them. So bringing forth today, we're giving you all of these tips. Slow down, make some notes, because life can definitely be overwhelming, right?
Absolutely. And listen, if you're new here, I'm Jody, and this is my husband, Mark.
And we don't focus on the financial aspects of retirement. We focus on lifestyle, health, relationships, and so much more.
So please hit the subscribe button and the notification button, and share this with someone you care about who's on their retirement journey as well.
So we hear from quite a few retirees that their lives up to this point have been busy, complicated, and stressful, just like ours was before we retired, right? At the end of our career.
Absolutely. But now in retirement, you have to kind of shed those badges. And Mark and I had a conversation about this the other day because, it's easy to say I'm busy. That gets you out of a lot of things. It's easy to say I don't have enough time. That also gets you out of a lot of things. It's easy to think things are complicated and stressful because that always got you out of things, right? But now, if you move towards a simpler lifestyle, you can be in the moment and really enjoy the next years. You got to shed those old sound bites, I think.
And one of the ways to do that, we in the notes below is one of our free downloads, a journaling guide. I don't know how many of you journal or meditate for that matter, but journaling as well. Every morning, getting up and writing down some thoughts that are in your head, this guide will help you start that process. But before we share with you the 20 tips to simplify your life, we want to explain why it's so important, especially now. And do us a favor and stay to the end because we're going to share our top 10 tips on how we are simplifying our life 5 years into retirement. Almost 6.
I know, it's been a long time.
And it's really, really critical to do that. So the first reason why you want to simplify life is to reduce your stress. As we get older, we can all say we can handle stress, but our capacity to handle stress can diminish. Even our life, YouTube channel, travel, grandkids, our health, our routines in the morning, all of that helps us, causes us to get stressful because we have so much to do. So we have to make sure we find ways to reduce the stress so we're healthier. And
this is one of the reasons why we moved to simplifying. Right? So these aren't our tips. These are the reasons why simplified life will make things better.
Right.
The second thing is simplifying your life can lead to healthier choices and improved health, such as more regular and physical activity, a better diet, anything that is crucial for your aging body. Stretching, yoga, meditation. Simplifying your life can lead to those healthier choices.
Okay. When you simplify your life in retirement, you have more time for what matters to you. You can declutter your schedule and your obligations, learn to say no. That's going to free up activities that you want to do that bring joy and fulfillment, like seeing your kids, hobbies, family, friends, whatever it might be. Simplifying your life will give you more time to do what matters.
Also, simplifying your life will enhance your focus and clarity. A less cluttered environment and lifestyle definitely leads to improved focus, mental clarity, and making it easier to enjoy and be present. I think we've noticed that switch for us.
Creating a simpler lifestyle is going to allow you to be more adaptable to whatever comes your way. Because the issues like aging, shifts in health, mobility, changes in income, if your life is simple and organized, these things are going to happen to us, but we'll know how to handle them better and be able to adapt to it as it comes.
And just to go back to that, adaptability as you age and flexibility as you age, I don't mean muscle flexibility, but like mindset flexibility, kind of keeps you out of the grumpy old man, grumpy old lady category.
Yeah.
The more adaptable you are. And I don't think any of us want to end in the grumpy old man.
Am I there yet?
No,
Okay.
definitely not. Simplifying can also increase your happiness and satisfaction. Letting go of material possessions and unnecessary obligation can definitely lead you to happiness and greater satisfaction. Allows for a deeper appreciation of simple life pleasures. And we were talking this morning about simple life pleasures and calling them out and being grateful for them. Remember that?
I do.
Your brother Chuck did that in The Most Amazing Life, in the most amazing way in his life.
Yeah, my brother Chuck, who passed away a couple years ago from ALS, had everything that he experienced in a way was like a miracle. And he was just...
everything.
The hamburger he had for lunch yesterday, the movie he watched last night.
The music he was listening to.
Music.
Yeah.
And he just had this simple way of just being grateful and in the moment when something was happening.
Right.
And we're trying to do a lot more.
We're trying to do
that.
better, for sure.
Right.
Okay, let's jump into the 20 tips or ways to simplify your life as you age. The first one, we've got full-blown videos on this one. The first one is declutter your home. Create a decluttering plan, room by room in your home. Donate those items you no longer use. Digitize your photos and documents and then get them out of here. Downsize your wardrobe, which we both have gotten very good at doing. Downsizing, almost to the point where the other day I think you said you had 2 shirts left.
Well,
downsize, but be aware of what you have left.
Well, there's a couple things that we do. First of all, when we left our career, we got rid of all those old clothes. I actually bought a new suit yesterday for my birthday because I had a couple of old suits left over that just didn't fit anymore. I mean, bodies change from the exercise. I've lost weight. I've moved it around. So from a decluttering point of view with my clothes, I've given away those old suits.
But you did find yourself at a pretty low place in terms of the number of shirts you had
Well,
left.
I did. I was going to say that if there's a shirt that I haven't worn in a year or a pair of slacks or something like that, I get rid of it.
Yeah.
And we also have this, nothing new comes in without something old going out. We don't need that many clothes anymore.
Right.
So
you're right.
Decluttering your home, your house, your rooms,
your
everything
closets,
really.
yeah.
Again, like Jody said, we have whole videos on that. Simplifying your life, you've got to find a way to streamline your finances. It can't be this huge, complicated problem because it is complicated. If you're getting Social Security and a pension or you're having to pull money out of retirement, got to find a way to consolidate retirement accounts, simplify your investment strategy. If you don't have a financial planner, we strongly believe you should get one. And then have a budget and just keep tight with that. It really does help bring clarity to your finances when you spend some time focused on it.
One of the things that we did when we retired was we moved all of the bill paying to just one of us. Mm-hmm. Because during our careers, if Mark signed up for Xfinity or Comcast or whatever the cable plan was, and I signed up for our Verizon phones or our AT&T phones, whatever it was, mm-hmm. We just each paid those bills or, the heating bill, the water bill, all those things. We've simplified that, and all the bills now come to me. It's my email. I'm the one that pays the bills. I'm the one that kind of manages. So that way it's not like, I remember we'd have full-blown discussions. Is that on auto pay? I don't know. I can't remember. So having one person in charge of it, I think makes a big difference.
And the other thing we did is most of our bills are on auto pay, and we have a list of who's on auto pay, what the email, what the website is, the login name, and the password in case you have to go in and change anything if you lose a credit card or something like that. So we, what was that?
Well, you're kind of the king of losing credit cards, aren't you?
Once in my whole life. Plus, we're in a blended family, so when Jody and I got married 15 years ago, I had my checking account, my savings account, my bills, you had yours, and we blended it all together. It was only one checking account now, one savings, and that really has helped us.
Absolutely. All right, the third tip is to optimize your health routine. Schedule regular health checkups and stick to it. Put them on your calendar. When you're leaving that doctor, make the next appointment for the next year or 6 months or whatever the time frame is. Find a physical activity that you love, not only enjoy, but you love, and prioritize your sleep and relaxation. This optimization of your health routine will simplify your life.
Yeah, you can't go about it just hoping or praying that maybe you'll go work out tomorrow or the next day. When it becomes part of a habit, a routine, really a ritual. How about that? Optimize your health rituals. I got that from Chip Conley, did a post on Modern Elder Academy. When a routine becomes a ritual, that's when you know you've nailed it. And our morning routine is now a ritual.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay. Thank you, Chip, for that tip. Another tip, enhance your social life. So going into retirement, you're going to lose a lot of people from work. I don't know what stage you are in your journey, but we're 5 years into it. Most, if not all of the relationships that we had back in our careers have petered out. There's some that we kept alive. Yeah. But you've got to find new people. You've got to join clubs or groups that interest you, volunteer for causes you might be passionate about, and limit commitments that don't bring you joy. You don't want to be around people and in places where you don't find joy. And use social media not just to buy things and scroll, but to stay connected.
Yeah, absolutely. And social media is good for a lot of things, bad for a lot of other things, but that connectivity to people that you aren't physically near, I think is helpful for a lot of people.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn because we are for business, but it's one way to get, to stay together. But on Facebook, it always shows you whose birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
And you and I both have a habit of not putting it on the page, but calling them.
Right.
Or texting them, or recording a video and send someone a birthday video,
which they love.
They do love it. We do that. I do that with the kids all the time. Sometimes I do them a random video, but that's enhancing your social life, and it's actually helping other people do the same thing. Imagine if every morning when you on your birthday, if you got 10 videos from your 10 best friends,
it'd be fun
versus a text.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the fifth tip is to cultivate new hobbies. Exploring hobbies that fit now into your lifestyle, learning something new like a musical instrument or a language, and then share your skills that you already have, like what's a good skill or hobby that you have that you've shared?
Well, I'm thinking of Paul across the street. He loves to fish.
Yes.
He, just last night at dinner, one of our neighbors said, I really want to learn more about fishing. Would you spend time with me? And they're both retired. So Paul's going to spend time helping...
Gary?
Is it Gary?
Gary
yes.
Or Eric?
I thought it was Eric.
Might be Eric.
Maybe it's Gary. Learn how to fish. And that, again, you're being fulfilled. You're spending some good quality time with a friend. And you asked me a question, what hobby I have that I share. Mm-hmm. I don't.
I think you do.
What?
When the kids are here, your cooking is a hobby of yours. And you always get them embroiled in your cooking or your cutting or your prepping.
I teach them stuff that's in my book. I run boot camp for the
boys. Boys boot camp.
Boys boot camp for the 3 men that are in relationships with our 3 daughters.
Yeah.
When they're here, they're in boot camp. Teach them stuff.
Yes.
Manners.
How to change a tire.
How to change a light bulb.
How to change a light bulb.
What's his name? Doesn't even know how to change a light bulb.
Oh, stop it. All right.
How do you not know how to change a light bulb at
26?
He knows how to change it now. All right. Simplifying your life. Embrace technology wisely.
Yeah.
These little computers that we all have are great. but you can just get lost and sucked in to social media, downloading the latest app or whatever. It becomes overwhelming.
I get sucked into the reels, watching silly things. Because we have Ruby now, somehow, I must have Googled or searched for something about puppies. So I get all these puppy reels, and I get sucked in by watching all the cuteness and the puppies and the training and the collars and the harnesses and the beds and the car transport systems, and I get sucked into those type of things.
So you have to do a couple things. You have to set boundaries for screen time.
Right.
I mean, we're all guilty of it. I don't think there's a person watching this video right now that can't say that, yeah, I use my phone too much. There are some people who are good at it, and that's great. But whatever you're using it for now, you want to have boundaries around that. You should never do it an hour before you go to bed.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get sucked into reels. I mean, if it's a little bit of entertainment, that's okay. But, using technology wisely, we use the Oura Ring technology to track our health and reminders,
and I use
our sleep.
I use the Apple Watch when I'm working out, which I really like still.
And if you're finding technology is creating your complicated for you, get some help.
Yeah, definitely.
You ask your kids or hire someone to really help you do it.
All right, so the next tip is to simplify your eating habits. Plan your meals weekly, if you can. I mean, think about a world when you wake up on Sunday, you do your grocery shopping, and you plan meals for 3 or 4 or 5 days. A lot of our clients are telling us they're starting to grow herbs, and they have a small garden where they are. And they're enjoying that both as a hobby and then part of a simplified eating plan, which I think is great. One of the things Mark likes to do in this Simplify Your Eating Habits bucket is organize our kitchen for efficiency. And after he does that, often, I have a hard time putting the carrot peeler in the right place, and it'll come out of the thing, and he'll say, "This doesn't belong here anymore." And I'm like, I didn't know you moved it.
I never move it. You move it.
I don't move it. You move it.
All of our kitchen stuff. What is it saying? A place for everything and everything in its place. I go looking for something and I can't find it. Joe, do you know where it is? It's where it's supposed to be. Well, it never is. But it's hard to have your kitchen efficient when your partner is moving the stuff around. But I'm grateful that you help with the dishes and that you empty the dishwasher and you put stuff away.
I just need to put it away in the right spot.
Well, for now, for me, it's always a chuckle.
Yeah.
Like, where do I think? Where's Waldo? Yeah. Where is the carrot peeler? So, anyway, simplifying your eating habits.
Yes.
Okay. Adopting a mindful lifestyle. Practicing daily gratitude. Start there. Get up in the morning, get a piece of paper, not in your phone, get a piece of paper and write down 3 things you're grateful for. Do that every day for a week. Just try it. I'm telling you, your mind will shift. My first gratitude every morning is something about Jody. And it just has really changed our relationship in that I'm more mindful of everything that Jody brings to my life, to our kids' life, to, oh gosh, I'm so in love with you. Look at that. So adopting a mindful lifestyle will simplify your life. Learn to say no to activities. Spend some time in nature. Focus on being present and not worry. We do not allow the word worry to come out of our lips, right?
We try. I wouldn't say we do not, but we try not to spend a lot of our waking time in worry and stress and
well, we change our language around it. We say, you might start a sentence, or I might, and say, you know what I'm worried about? Well, you know what I'm thinking about, or concerned, or aware of, is a lot better than I'm worried about this, or I'm worried. It's just bad. So having a mindful lifestyle is really helpful.
All right, so the next tip is to revise your living space to make your life simpler. It might mean you're downsizing to a more manageable living space, or maybe you're upsizing because in retirement now you have the grandkids more, or your children more often, or you've decided to take in your parents.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So either downsize or upsize, but really do that with intention for a more manageable living space. Even choosing furniture that offers comfort and utility. Our neighbors, when we were at dinner last night, she had a sofa delivered.
I heard you ask her.
She had it delivered. She didn't really talk much to her husband about it. She just went and ordered this sofa and had it delivered to their house. So I said to her last night, "How's the sofa going?" And she said, "It's not very comfortable. It's what I wanted it to look like, but it's not very functional or comfortable." She's like, "I'm kind of bummed out." So make sure when you choose furniture that it offers comfort and utility. Designate areas in your life space for relaxation and activities. I think that's important. Our house in Florida is small, and we don't really have that except for out back,
outside,
under the lanai. There's a little bit space there for relaxation and a pool for some activities. Although you never get in the pool, really.
No,
not a pool.
So under this category of revising your living space, I might have mentioned this before about a place for everything and everything in its place, like the carrot peeler. We back to that again?
Nope.
Do you know where it goes? Do you know what drawer it goes in?
Second to the right.
Or the ice cream scooper?
Second to the right.
We have a drawer in the kitchen, or I have a drawer, where my wallet goes, my car key goes, our sunglasses. I know they're going to be there. So designating space in your house for those things that you definitely don't want to lose and you always know, that really does simplify. For me, I know my wallet's either in my pocket or in that drawer. Or in the car. Because I went to the gym and I brought my wallet.
Right.
So,
which isn't a good place to leave your wallet.
So another way to simplify your life is planning for the future. So your wills and estate plans should be updated. I'm surprised. I don't know about you. But do you actually have an up-to-date will? Do you have, what are the other documents you need? Living will? Help me out.
A do not resuscitate or what's that called? Healthcare proxy.
Healthcare proxies. Have all of that stuff in place. There's nothing worse than one of us getting sick and not having that in place. That creates so much stress for the other partner.
So planning for your future is really a way to simplify not only today but into the future.
Into the future, and share your wills and estate plans with your kids if you have kids, and with each other. There shouldn't be any secrets when it comes to what happens when one of you gets really sick, or God forbid if one of you dies. There should be no questions as to what to do.
Right.
And that was clear with my parents. It was very clear what we were meant to do, my brother, my sister, and I. So that took all of those decisions out of play because they had planned for their future.
Yeah, that was super clear with my mom. My mom, after she passed.
Your mom's story is funny.
In 2017, after a battle with pancreatic cancer, which was devastating for all of us, I went to her safety deposit box and I opened it up. And in there, she had yellow sticky notes on everything. You know, a eulogy, please make sure you include these things, you know, where she was born, you know, her friends. Like every document had a sticky note on it for me. So it was like very well planned.
Wasn't there a last note, like when in doubt, or if you're not sure, you can decide on this stuff? Wasn't there a document?
What could I remember?
I think I'll have to call your brother. There was something in there that kind of made both of you chuckle.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget to stay to the end because we're going to share with you our top 10 tips on how we are simplifying our life 5 years into retirement.
This is a big one, and it really should be yours to talk about, not mine, because you're really good at this. Simplifying your life after 60 would include establishing routine maintenance, routine home maintenance, you know, automate as much home maintenance as possible, declutter to prevent buildup. Simplify your garden and your outdoor space, which I want to do this year in Florida because we plant every year down here, and I want there to be some annuals as opposed to perennials. Do I have that right or wrong?
Not sure.
Okay.
I don't have a green thumb. I have no idea.
Anyway, regularly assessing your home to establish routines that need it. I mean, yesterday you were up and changing all the
air filters,
and I didn't actually really notice until after you changed them that the airflow in the house got so much better.
I know.
So routine maintenance is important. Use your calendar, use indicators, use alarms on your phone. Something that helps you stay on top of that.
Yeah, you got HVAC, your furnace person, whatever it is, they should be coming annually or semi-annually to check all your stuff. So instead of waiting till something breaks, stay ahead of it.
Right.
Have routine maintenance scheduled in your calendar, like batteries.
Smoke detectors.
Smoke detectors, the automatic locks on the front door and all that. In the spring, I always change all the batteries and do it again late fall.
Okay.
That way they're never dead. It might be a little bit of a waste, but there's nothing worse than having the battery go dead and then you're running around chasing all of them. So that's really important to do. You know, one of the things that we do now, 5 years into retirement, to help simplify our life, we focus on quality over quantity. So when we're buying something, like yesterday, actually bought a nice suit.
You did.
I bought a nice suit because weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs, whatever it might be.
Well, even if you go on your book tour, you might need
a suit for my book tour. Am I doing a book tour?
I don't know.
Okay. Have you guys read my book, The Evolving Man? That's quality over quantity. You read one book, and there's 18 life virtues in there that men don't talk about. How about that for quality?
That's good quality.
Okay.
Action-packed.
You know, apply the less is better approach to purchases. Less but better. Yeah.
Less items, but better items.
Yeah, less better. Yeah, so we need one really good carrot peeler instead of 3 crappy ones that we can never find anyway. One good one. I'm going to put an Apple tag on it.
An air tag?
An air tag. That's
an Apple tag.
An air tag.
An air tag.
So, you know, quality over quantity. If there's things in your house you're not using anymore, donate it. Let someone else have it. If you've got 3 kind of frying pans that are all kind of crappy you don't use anymore because they're so old, get rid of them and get one good one.
Right.
We have our, oh my
Smithy.
gosh, my favorite
Yeah.
implement in the kitchen right now is my Smithy cast iron skillet.
We
Actually,
have a 10-inch, a 12-inch, and a 14-inch. You have 3 of them.
Use them all the time. I don't really use Teflon anymore or the old steel ones.
We actually have only grilled twice this whole season
on the
outdoor grill because you've been using those pans so much.
Anyway.
All right, the next tip number 13, is simplify your wardrobe. That sounds easier than it is, but adopt a wardrobe that's casual with versatile pieces. You know, I wish I would have done this when I was working and I didn't just buy things to wear for that one event or that one meeting or whatever it was. I wish I would have adopted a more kind of versatile wardrobe. I think our 2 youngest girls do a great job with versatile
Maddie
wardrobes.
and Jordan? Yeah.
When they come, you know, they each always have like a cute pair of black pants, something tan, something white, something that has a pop of color, but they don't get it very, you know, complicated. It just stays really simple. And I think donating the clothes, and we mentioned this in another video, donating the clothes that you haven't worn in a year is a really good feeling. If you look at something and you say, I haven't worn this, but I might want to keep it, have the next statement in your head be, could someone else be wearing this right now?
Well,
right?
You mentioned, yeah, and it's definitely easier for men than it is for women. I mean, I've got 4 slacks, 8 shirts, some shorts, some golf shirts, and I just move them around. It doesn't really matter. But I did recently, I think you said it earlier in this video, about I only had 2 shirts.
You were down to 2 long sleeve shirts.
I had 2 long sleeve shirts to wear down here. We had a colder winter to go out to dinner. And 2 things about them is they were old, and I didn't feel good when I put them on.
Right.
So I that's not simple. That's complicated. That's where I look in the closet. Oh my God, I look at those 2. So when we bought the suit, I bought 4 new shirts, and I wore one last night, and I just felt so much happier. I felt alive. I felt light in my feet. So simplifying it better, you know, less versus more, getting stuff that you really like, and for you, the versatility of mixing and matching, you're getting better at that.
I'm getting better at that. I made a commitment 2 years ago. Every time we travel, I'm just using carry-on.
Yeah, you've been doing great.
And I've been doing really great, but that causes me to say, I can wear these black pants with a pink blazer, with a white shirt, with a t-shirt, with flip-flops, like try to kind of really maximize the uses. And also choosing comfort clothes.
Right.
And function over like today's trends. There's a lot of trends that come out, especially in women's clothing, that sometimes they're just not meant for me in particular, or they don't look good on me. Like, and I have to just kind of bypass the trends and kind of stick with more simple clothes.
All right. Another way to simplify your life is reducing digital clutter. And one of the most obtrusive, is that the right word? Invasive is unnecessary emails. You can't go to any website anymore if you're interested in a product or interested in learning something more without giving them your email.
Right.
Or, frankly, even us. We've gotten a link below. Download our free
journaling guide.
Yeah, but we only email you once a month.
Right.
I mean, when the book came out, we did it a little bit more. But some of these companies, they just kill you with so many emails, and then opting out becomes a pain in the neck.
Right.
And you have to dedicate time every day or every week to
kind of clear that out.
Clear it out.
Yeah. I also think it's important to clear out your apps.
Yes.
I know every once in a while I'll go into Apple and I'll see that I have a renewal of all these following apps. And I'm like, gosh, one of them was a parking app from White Plains, New York. And we haven't lived there in 6 years. Why am I still paying for the parking app?
Yeah, and even if it's free, just get it off your phone.
Get it off the phone.
Clutters the screen.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, the next one, tip number 15, is embrace leisure and downtime. Prioritizing relaxation and hobbies into your daily schedule will help you simplify your days, your weeks, your month, and your year. Learning to be comfortable with doing nothing, which you're not comfortable with.
Well, I'm not.
He's not.
I'm not. 100%. No. I have a tough time waking up with no plan and nothing to do. And Saturday was like that. However, we both said when we woke up Saturday, because of all the travel we did and everything, we're just not going to do anything today.
Yeah.
Or we're going to do nothing together.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I can't do it 2 days in a row.
No.
3 days in a row, I'm really in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think either of us could do it for a long period of time, but we had a pretty emotional roller coaster week with our son going in for surgery, and we flew to New York, and, we were living out of a hotel and out of bags. We were trying to see friends, but support, Markham as well. So we just went on Saturday when we landed. I was okay with doing nothing, and thankfully, we got to watch some golf. We watched a movie. We made some dinner, and we just chilled. So occasionally, I think that's okay.
Well, for me, it's really important that I do embrace leisure and downtime because it is important. It's a little bit of self-care, and I need to be okay with it and not have doing nothing create stress in my life.
Right.
So I need to limit the amount of time, but when I do it, I need to do it really well.
Right.
All right. We talk a lot about this, having a good, supportive community, and we really can't talk about it enough because it's so important at this phase of life to have a good network of friends and acquaintances, particularly some who share similar values and hobbies, like pickleball, your Bible study. I got a group of men, we get together once in a while and talk about that, and it's it really is a group of people you can reach out to, perhaps if things aren't going well, right?
Well,
you can be comfortable sharing your struggles.
And I love the idea of seeking this multi-generational connections. So, I'm connected to a lot of my daughter's friends, a lot of younger women that are still in the workforce that I mentor, so I love the idea of connecting with people younger and older than me in this phase of life, for sure, to really cultivate that supportive community.
Yeah.
And it simplifies my life.
And staying in touch with everybody in the right way.
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
I don't know if we're doing so many videos today, but I love to send videos to people.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you in a while, hope all is well. A 1-minute video. It's such a cool way to, if you see on Facebook someone struggling with something, send them a video.
Yeah.
Or
definitely.
FaceTime them. I mean, that's the best.
All right, the 17th tip is to automate and delegate certain tasks. We've gotten a lot better at streamlining this by using automation for repetitive tasks like bill paying or even email responding. We're going to be away from our phones, like this summer we're going to Africa for 3 weeks. We won't have a lot of access. But delegating and automating tasks that are difficult or less enjoyable or just repetitive can streamline your life.
And I think reminders is good on your phone as well. I mean, we have a thing we do with our kids called Selfie Saturday. So every Saturday, 8 o'clock, my phone has an alarm that rings off. And we typically start it. We'll take a picture of wherever we are, whatever we're doing, and send it to the family. And the idea is all the other kids will put up a picture as well, kind of saying where they are. It's one little way to stay in touch, but it only happens because it's automated.
Right, and you're using that alarm on your phone. I do it. This sounds crazy, but you got to put water in your pool. I do it. As soon as we put the hose in the pool, I set an alarm to remind myself that the hose is in the pool.
Well, yeah,
because it's gotten a little full.
It has. And, so anyway, all right. This is really important, I think, for all of us, is finding a good balance of staying informed about what's happening in the world, but not becoming overwhelmed. There's a lot there's just so many news channels, and they're all different, and they all believe that what they're saying is the truth.
Right.
You've got to find some trusted news sources that are just reporting what's happening, not what they think it's all about, because that just sends people to a rabbit hole.
Right.
You get overwhelmed, you get stressed out. We watch very little commercial news. What would the word be?
Mainstream news.
Mainstream news.
Right.
You know, there's CNN reports it one way, Fox is another, MSNBC, Facebook has this bit of information.
And then, God
Instagram
forbid, our kids are getting a lot of news from TikTok.
Yeah.
Which,
So-
is hyper overdone, crazed news.
Sometimes
sources.
one of the kids will tell us something. I said, "Where'd you hear that?" On
TikTok.
I go, "No."
Yeah. Well,
just gonna say-
for us, that's not a trusted news source.
No.
For the younger generation, I think they're still trying to figure it out.
So I think that one way to stay informed, we watch very little news, but we'll watch a little bit of it. But having discussions with friends and neighbors on current events in a constructive manner, and really listening to their point of view, maybe in your mind they're wrong, but maybe you're wrong too. So it's
Right.
just a matter of being able to have that without being overwhelmed and stressed. Oh, that's interesting. You think about it that way. Here's how I think about it.
And
then-
really, just focusing on the actionable information relevant to your life, I think, is important.
Yeah.
And that might be relevant to your heart. It might be relevant
Mm.
to your hobbies or your purpose or your focus or your family or your health and wellness. But, figure out what's actionable information relevant in your life. I think that's a good way to discern.
Yeah, one of the next tip is about simplifying meal prep. And we talk about this, and you and I go.
We're not great.
We go in and out of it, but I love to cook a big roast on Sunday night, and that's good for Monday lunch and maybe even Monday dinner. We mix it up a little bit.
A roast chicken.
A roast chicken,
Yeah.
for instance. But it would be great if we could cook a little bit more on Sunday
Yeah.
and then have dinners for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but we don't.
We have a friend whose son actually, Sunday, Ryan, Sunday sets out all his containers, and he and his wife meal prep.
You saw that on Instagram,
I did.
didn't you? Yeah, it's really
They meal
impressive.
prep for the whole week, and I mean, they are cooking the majority of Sunday. They make brown rice or quinoa or some
Cook
type
the
of
protein.
grain. They cook the protein. They put that in. They put their green leafy vegetables in there, and they seal up all these containers.
Well, it's
And it's
interesting.
pretty amazing.
Well, when you think about it, if we're going to cook Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's a lot that goes into preparing
Yeah.
the meal. First, you have to shop. And you have to, do whatever you need to do to prep it and cook it. That's an hour, hour and a half each time. If you're going to cook 20 pieces of chicken, it only takes 25 minutes, right? A little bit
Right.
of prep. But if you do that 4 times during the week, it's take it out of the fridge. And
Yeah, you actually
So-
do simplify and streamline your time, I
Yeah.
think, by meal prep. What we're not great at, and I don't know if we'll ever get there, is cooking, sealing, and freezing
Mm-hmm.
for a later date. I don't know, we're just not very good at that.
We should try. I mean,
We
I
should
think
try
when we
to
get
be
back
better.
to Connecticut, we should try that.
Okay.
I like that kitchen, and I don't know. But anyway, it's a tip to simplify your life is to simplify meal prep. The last one here really covers everything we just talked about. And after 5 years of being in retirement, it's all about practicing intentional living. How do we want our day to look? How do we want our week to look? How do we want our life to look? And setting clear, achievable goals aligned with our values. And I think that's worked so well in our relationship and our physical wellness and things like sleep. We're very intentional about a lot of this.
Well, and we make decisions around things that contribute to our overall well-being, right? Like, I mean, let's be honest. If you could have a chocolate chip cookie for lunch and one after dinner every night, you would. But that doesn't really contribute to our overall well-being. First of all, not for you. And second of all, I never really have the cookie, but I have the bite of the cookie.
Right.
And I don't really need that to spur on my sugar craze. So making these mindful decisions and practicing intentional living, even though it's number 20, it does kind of encapsulate everything.
Yeah, and I
we've
think the other
talked
thing
about.
is being okay with change.
Yeah.
Try new experiences. We try new things all the time to see if it makes our life better. And we don't like everything that we try, but we try, right?
Absolutely.
We're not stuck in our ways and no, we never did it that way, so we're not going to change. We love changing.
Right.
And then, you know what? If you change and you like it, celebrate that.
Absolutely.
So,
okay, as promised, here are the 10 personal tips we use to simplify our lives right now.
first
Ready?
one,
Go.
joint family calendar. Now that's really for just you and I, but because we have 6 kids, we plan out months and years in advance. Might sound ridiculous, but we have Thanksgiving, we have summer vacation, we have other holidays, and our kids are not like right around the corner. They have to travel. So we have to make plans for that.
Plans in advance.
So you and I have a joint calendar.
Right.
I always know what day Jody's doing, whatever she's doing. She knows what I'm doing. So
and then we anchor kids,
Right.
visitors, right on that calendar, so that if Mark looks at his calendar, including the family calendar, he'll see like, oh, Maddie's coming for a month this summer, and these are the dates she's going to be there. Yeah. Maddie and Teo.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, I knew that. Birthdays. All our family's birthdays are on the calendar. So there's another app that we use to simplify a lot of things in our life, and it's called Evernote. And inside of Evernote, we have a joint grocery list. Whenever we need anything for the house,
we pop it
Jody
on
has it
list.
on her phone, I have it on mine, and one of us goes to the store, we open it up, and it's current.
Right.
We have all of our travel passwords, Hertz rental, things like that. So we're not always searching and grabbing. We've got Jody's car. We have a picture of her registration, a picture of her driver's license, a picture of license plate. So if there's something on your car that we need to look up, it's there. If it's a lease car, when the date would be up. So we use Evernote for so many different things that we can share these notes. I mean, you can use the app Notes in your phone. It's really the same thing.
It is very similar, yeah.
But with Evernote, you can tag it, you can share it, you can do a little bit more. I don't know what else we use that for.
Well, I use it when the kids are coming, right?
Oh,
so
right.
I share Evernote with, for example, Jonathan, Mariana, and their family, because if they're coming, I don't know what the kids are eating these days. If we haven't seen them in a couple months. I mean, Luca used to love cucumbers and cherry tomatoes, and now he doesn't like cucumbers or cherry tomatoes. So, we keep a running list so that before they come, I know what size diaper Camilo needs, so that I'm prepared when they get here and I don't have to send those emails out like, hey, what does everybody need? Okay, so family calendar, Evernote. The third thing would be our daily routine. That really simplifies our life. Kind of full stop. We don't need to go into it much, but our daily routine is kind of our holy grail. I know we did that in the last video, but it really anchors us down. It creates a place for us to build around each day, and I think it's really important.
When we go to bed at night, we know what each of us are going to do first thing in the morning, what time we're going to get up, unless there's a bad night's sleep or something. And we have coffee from 6 to 6:30 together. 8 o'clock when you get back from the gym, we're again together for half an hour.
Breakfast.
So by 9 o'clock, I'm up at 4. So by 9, I'm up for 5 hours already, and we've done a lot of stuff together and a lot of stuff separately. But we're so grounded because of that, right? There's no confusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's simple. We don't have to think about it.
So the fourth thing that we do is we do our planning on Sunday nights. It might seem like, that's not a good night. Sunday night, Sunday, your day of rest. But Sunday during dinner, we usually plan Monday through Friday the next week. What do we have going on? Mm-hmm. What things do we have to accomplish for work?
Well,
if one of us is getting a haircut, or what do we need to do with Ruby? I mean, there's a lot of things that get planned on Sunday night.
I think the key to that is not so much work and all of that, but making sure that we're planning the fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Are we going to be able to use the boat this week? When can we fit that in? When can we fit in golf together? When can we fit in pickleball? Because those things are really important to us.
Yeah. And
making sure we set aside time for that is good. Who's got birthdays coming up, so that we know about that. Another area that we use to simplify our life is making sure we schedule time alone from each other in a way. Jody has her golf on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. I spend more time than I should on work, but I enjoy it. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. The gym we have separately, which actually is good. I don't know if we'd like working out together.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But we can't both go I'm not going at 4:40 in the morning.
No, you're not. But scheduling time alone, a massage, a haircut, whatever it might be, me having lunch with a buddy, that really has simplified our life. Because if you don't have that, if you're not planning and you're not scheduling, you don't have a routine, you get up in the morning and you say, all right, so what are we going to do today?
Right. Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'll call Paul for lunch. Well, he's busy, so I can't. So it really is making our life simple by having these habits of routine, planning Sunday nights, scheduling alone time. Meal prep is another thing. We just talked about that.
Meal prep is the 6th thing on our list of 10.
Right.
And we don't need to go into it more because we did just talk about it. But this for us needs work. We're getting better. We could get a lot better. And I think we have to be more intentional about it to make our lives simpler.
Yeah. Another thing that we do to keep our life simple is that Selfie Saturday with the family. We talked about
just
that.
To check in with
Set an
families.
alarm every Saturday at 8 o'clock. The alarm goes off. We take a picture of ourselves, put it in there, encourage the kids, like, where are you? What are you doing? Just to keep in touch. That's simple and interesting.
And the next thing is, and we mentioned it earlier, but the calendar of family birthdays. You hate to miss a birthday. You always feel awful if you miss someone's birthday. Forgot to send a card, forgot to reach out, forgot to do a video. So on our calendar, we have all of our family, our nieces and nephews, my pop, like everybody's birthday is on our calendar. So we never feel behind the 8 ball. And we'll look at that on Sunday. Do we have any birthdays coming up? April is a big birthday month for our family.
So with 6 kids, and 6 more partners.
2 grandkids.
2 grandkids, 6, 12.
14.
14.
Plus us.
That's 14. 16. Yeah, you get presents. I didn't get any yesterday, but you're getting some next week.
You didn't get a shopping spree in Naples, Florida?
16 people to buy presents for. So one thing we've done to simplify, except for Jody, is no more presents, just cash or an experience. So dinner out, a coupon, something like that. This idea of buying presents for 14 people for something that we think they want, it's just too hard.
Well, we also
right?
don't want to add to someone else's clutter, right? So, like, do my girls really need another sweater? Probably not. So, what they really need, and they're of the age, what they really need is cash. Yeah. So, we've gone to more cash presents than
and
presents.
We did that to make our life simpler, and frankly, probably the kids.
Yeah.
Because they could probably use some money versus, like you said, the shirt.
Yeah. The last thing we do to make our life simpler is a separation of duties. Not that there isn't crossover sometimes, but...
You mean around the house?
Around the house. Yeah. Chores, Mark loves to cook. I don't love to grocery shop, but I'll do it. I'll clean up, he'll cook, I'll walk the dog, he'll walk her late at night in the dark, we kind of have a good flow of separation of duties, I think.
We do, and on top of that, we're very comfortable being open about not so much I'm doing more than you, but I really need your help today. I'm having a tough time. Do you mind walking Ruby before you go to bed instead of me? And that's important because it should be, it's a partnership. And it's not black and white, but we do have, some areas. But I think our communication is really good, too.
It's gotten a lot better. Simple and easy needs to be your new mantra. There's no need to keep scheduling too much each day. Break it up with some things that give you fun and enjoyment and increase your retirement journey.
And you want to get into the mindset that life doesn't have to be complicated. It really doesn't have to be complicated. I hope you wrote some things down today that can help you make your life simpler. And, if you really want to jumpstart it, I think journaling and meditation is a great way to get your head in a good spot. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did this next one, it's really good. It's called Don't Fear Aging. And it helps you discover the beauty of growing older. So watch this one next.